just film the update. Like, who cares if it's not good enough? It's just a vlog, and we're not trying to be a professional YouTuber or anything. Okay, with that out of the way as a message to myself, what's been going on since my last vlog? I am not counting the t-shirt video as a vlog because that's talking about t-shirts, and somehow I talk about fashion and I don't even know how that happened. Is that who I am? Anyway, no, my last vlog was more than a week ago, and a lot has happened in between that, and for a good chunk of it I was not keeping notes on what I've even been doing, so I've restarted the notes. But yeah, in that gap everything is a bit of a fuzz and it's hard for me to remember the exact timeline, so I'm sorry. But I notice in my last vlog in the description, I did talk about my little brother's sleeping patterns and how they were messing me up and how I found a solution. But then of course the very next night he woke me up at 5:30, I think, and then there's been another incident where he woke me up at 4:30, and maybe more than one, I don't even remember. And a lot of my past since the last vlog is this confusing blur, and I've had days where I've not been able to function, and so my sense of time is a bit off as well. But the last couple days I think I have got his sleep sorted, because instead of putting the aircon on and then setting the timer to go off, I've actually kept his aircon running through the night on dehumidify mode, and cross fingers that's worked so far. So yeah, maybe I'm finally getting back on top of the sleep issues. Okay, so that's like a first thing. I did take a few notes because I wanted to say at the start of this video that my life has been difficult, busy, and confusing. Difficult, the sleep part, very much like underlying everything, I think. And I've already talked about that, so I guess we can move on. No, but the sleep problems have led to other problems, I think, but also no, that was more of a dad problem. I don't know, I had a bit of a conflict with Dad, and it was not pleasant, and he's apologized, but I don't think he really understands what went on there. But I can't really tell him because I think it'll just happen all over again, so fun shit. But my mum was really supportive, and like, you know, I was so distraught the day that that happened, and I didn't want to go and eat dinner with everyone because usually we do. I used to get in trouble as a kid if I didn't want to go and have dinner with everyone, so we always have dinner together anyway, unless like someone's away or what. But yeah, that night I just, you know, Mum called me to dinner and I was like, I'm not coming out. I just don't want to come out. I'll eat something later. And I was in tears as well. And she actually brought me my dinner, and it was really tasty. It was this amazing steak. Yeah, it was really nice of her to bring that in. And then the next morning, you know, she was actually really supportive. And my mum is not someone who's great with emotional stuff, but she actually, I feel like maybe she made a bit of progress there. So that was actually really nice, because in the morning when I had had that terrible night's sleep, I had felt a lack of empathy from her. But once shit hit the fan with my dad, yeah, she really like came around. So well done, Mum. Dad, I'm not even going to go there because I don't have the energy to start shit again, so I'm just back to the usual pretending things are okay as best I can. Okay. And yeah, that was made worse because I didn't sleep well, but he did some things that just didn't take into account my, like, no one consults me on stuff that affects me, and it's like, come on guys, you know, you can, like, why can't you how hard is it to tell me stuff? Anyway, yeah, I don't want to go into specifics because then I'd have to remember all that stuff and I might get upset again, and my brain's kind of already moved on, and that's the problem with not making vlogs as things happen, is I seem to move on really fast, and that's probably a good thing in terms of like depression type stuff, because a lot of depression is about dwelling and then you feel more and more crap. But yeah, maybe one of the things that's helped me in recent years is somehow I just keep moving on really fast. That's just how I am now, whereas a few years back I was really stuck in a bad depressed place, and I don't know how this happened. I'm not consciously trying to move on, it's just how I am now, and this is what makes it really hard in terms of like my sense of connection to myself over time. I made that video 3 ways my sense of self is like messed up, and one of them was myself over time, and it's like the way that I cope with stuff has changed, and I'm Oh my god, it's screwing me up to think a little bit about that. Anyway, so I've been busy as well because so I talked about seeing my old psychologist in the last vlog, and then since then I've seen the new psychologist, and that was on a Friday. What day is it even? It's Tuesday. Oh my god, time is really, my sense of time is all screwed up. So I think that was only on Friday, but yeah, wow, has that it feels like ages ago, and it was only on Friday. Wow. Okay, so I saw the new psychologist. It was actually really exhausting, and I don't know if that's just because, like, you know, I haven't been sleeping well, but also like going through some of the stuff and having to talk more about dissociation things and trying to be more open about that, because like I've gone through a lot of the schizoid stuff. I think I understand how that affects me reasonably well, but it's the dissociation that I'm less familiar with and also more sensitive about, and like I kind of can't hide from that issue anymore. And so yeah, we're talking more about that, and I think that's probably exhausting to go through all that on top of being, you know, having sleep problems. And yeah, I remember feeling really drained when I came home from that session. And then the next day, on the Saturday, I saw my GP. I needed to get a repeat for Dymista, the nasal spray antihistamine, which I've been, you know, pulling back on. But you know, if I have a flare up of my hay fever again, you know, I need the script. And then I updated her on my situation with like all my treatment situation. So seeing the new psychologist, getting set up with the new psychiatrist who I will see next month, and then they requested paperwork from my old psychiatrist and also my old psychologist, and getting all that sorted. And I've been chasing everyone to, you know, make sure all the paperwork goes where it needs to go. Yeah, and then also the dissociation specialist, I had sent, like, she'd been on leave, and I'd sent her she's back now, so I sent my referral saying, hey, for your records, in case a space pops up, or like, you know, you have a cancellation, because I do have questions I want to ask. And the dissociation specialist got back to me and was like, I have an appointment on Monday. Is today really Tuesday? Wow, that was yesterday. So I saw the dissociation specialist yesterday. I've been going, oh my god, and that was, you know, I had to leave the house and go on quite an adventure, and I was really tired by the time I got home again. And like super busy, because so the appointment was at 2 o'clock, and I'm like, great, I have enough time to get into the city, go and have some Nando's, travel the rest of the way, because she's actually quite a distance to travel, go the rest of the way, and then I can come home and so on. And so, yeah, Nando's. But I timed it, like, you know, when I'm a bit anxious about being somewhere on time, I tend to leave, like, too much leeway. And so I got basically, like, after Nando's, by the time I got in the vicinity, I had an hour to kill, and I was just sort of wandering around a shopping centre. And it took me about 20 minutes to remember, oh, I was going to get a gaming controller for the computer. And by the time I thought of that, like, I'd killed so much time. And then I was in one of the gaming stores and looking at these controllers, and they're a lot more expensive than I was expecting. And I'm like, if I'm going to spend that kind of money, I need to know, like, why should I spend more money on this one than that one? Or why is this one better? And it was a little bit busy, and I just didn't have the energy to, like, wait for or talk to a store person to get their opinion. And I think I'll just have to, like, Google things. If you know about gaming, though, on PC, like, if you happen to have an opinion, please let me know in the comments, like, what controller should I get? Like, should I get and which ones work? And should I get wireless? Do I care about wireless when the computer's just there? I can just USB in and not worry about batteries. Do I go for like an Xbox One, or do I get a PlayStation One? Because like I used to like PlayStation, but they've changed so much. Like the last PlayStation we've got was a PS3, and since then things have changed a lot. So I don't even know which one would work with my hands. I have like reasonably big hands. I don't know if that makes any, like, long fingers. I don't know if that makes a difference. Yeah, if anyone knows about gaming controllers, that would really help if you can give me some recommendations, or like where do I even look to find information. Anyway, so yeah, I killed some time, went and saw the dissociation specialist, and that was interesting. I do have like more videos that my list of videos to make is so long at this point, but some of the stuff, so like I went in with some questions and I don't feel like any of them got answered. And it was mostly like her understanding my situation better. And yeah, like, and it was also confusing because it sounds like I am concerned that because she's so focused on dissociation that maybe she could be exaggerating the things that I go through. But on the other hand, if she has expertise, maybe she's able to see things that I just am not properly aware of or don't understand. And so like I've managed to get myself super confused. I was more confused yesterday though. Today I am less confused. Today I'm a bit like I'm more feeling like shit, maybe she's right. But yeah, no, that was confusing. And then also, okay, focus, get my brain on board. What's happening with my treatment is I've transitioned to the new psychologist at the clinic that I've been going to last year. And the reason I went to see her is because the dissociation specialist was saying, oh, I'm probably not going to have any spaces open until the end of this year. That's what she told me last year. But then I've seen her yesterday, and then she's like, oh, actually, I might have a vacancy coming up soon, and that's why I wanted to see you, and can I see you again next week? And so I'm seeing her again next week before I even get back to seeing the psychologist I was supposed to be handed over to for the second appointment with her, and it's just like this whole psychologist situation has gotten a little bit more chaotic than, like, you know, I had a plan of how things were going to go. Is I was going to see the handover psychologist until I could get through this lady's waiting list. But now maybe there is no waiting list and maybe I'm in. And so what do I do with the psychologist that I've been sent to now? Do I see one or the other? Do I choose? Do I see both of them? And I'm super confused about that. And then, you know, with the keeping in mind that this dissociation specialist is really into dissociation, it's like, if I go there, is she going to convince me that I have something that I don't? Or is that the best thing for me because I've been so reluctant to address a lot of these things that maybe I am heaps in denial? Like, I don't know if I'm explaining it well, but I don't know how to trust what I think and what I perceive of myself. Like, I don't know if my self-perception is accurate or if I'm in denial. I hope that makes sense, because, yeah, anyway, and there's stuff around the dissociation stuff that I think I will just make a separate video on and read what my old psychologist has written about me, because when, like, she gave me an extra letter she gave me a letter a while back for the ESAT, the Employment Services Assessment, but she's given me a new one, like, as her, like, final thing for me, that I can use for the DSP. I'm not ready to apply for DSP, but I can use her letter as evidence, and the stuff that there's been a slight change in what she said about me, and it freaks me out just a little bit, because I'm like, is that really what's going on with me? I don't know. So I'll make a separate video about that, and then there's another video I want to make going through some criteria in the ICD. I should probably look up some of this stuff in the DSM, but I'll get to that later. Anyway, so yesterday, Nando's, wandering around shopping centre, forgetting what I was supposed to be doing there, going to the dissociation specialist. On the way home, I went and got an ice cream, and I got a lemon sorbet, and I was like, you know what, today has been a lot. This whole weekend, like, you know, the past few days have been a lot. I'm gonna get myself the lemon sorbet in a cone with the chocolate around the edges, and I'm sorry, I'm not prepared enough to get you the photo of that. Maybe on my phone I can pull it up. Oh yeah, it is there. Oh, isn't that cute? Oh, it's probably going to look terrible. Yeah, look at me in front of the... And then, yeah, it got a bit too bright. But I had the chocolate tip, like, you know, they got the cone and they dipped it in the chocolate. And I think I got a junior cone, and they didn't charge me any extra. And I don't know if the junior cone like if it's supposed to be something that I'm only allowed to have if I'm a kid. I just wonder, maybe it's the size of the cone that's important, or maybe it's like looking at me. But she didn't charge me any extra for dipping the thing in the chocolate, as far as I'm aware. It was as cheap as I was expecting, and I got the lemon sorbet and I ate that. And then if you look on the photo really closely, which you won't be able to on this computer, you can see on the screen, you can see like a little bit of chocolate already on my lip, and I'm just like, oh my god, I'm such a child. And then once I was like off the bus, I went and got an iced chocolate from a cafe on the like final stretch walking home. And it's at that point I realized I'd overdone some of the impulsive stuff and the food related rewards for leaving the house. Because if I'm gonna leave the house, I should try and reward myself with something tasty. But yeah, I went too far. Nando's, and then that ice cream, and then the iced chocolate. And by the time I got home, I was just like, what have I done? Yeah, and then like today has also been kind of crazy, because and I don't know, I'm gonna get myself confused if I keep talking about stuff. I'm already confused. What are we talking about? Yeah, these are things that have been going on. Was there anything else yesterday? I don't even know. It's hard to keep track of stuff, and I have started, so that, did I already mention this? I don't know. The new psychologist had me restart my diary for her to look at, and yeah, that it does actually help me remember what I've even been doing. And, you know, because sometimes even like, what did I do in the morning? Lately, these days, it's just hard for me to keep track of stuff. And yeah, anyway, so what, in summary, like, I've had some really, really bad days where I've just been absolutely miserable. And then today was a little bit better, because I've had 2 nights where I wasn't woken up too early, although I did wake up at 4:30 on my own this morning, but I was able to get back to sleep and I wasn't full of frustration at being woken up, so that's better, I guess. But yeah, no, in terms of what happened today, I think I'll see how that goes. Anyway, so life has been difficult, busy, and confusing, and I've got a lot more to say, but this is sort of just like the update, and then if I can get into more of a habit again and make videos that are a bit more structured and less confusing. So let's just put this down as like a confusing mess of a video, because that's how I'm feeling at the moment. And yeah, and words and things. Solar Scribe Chronicler, yay! And I'm working on the PO box thing. That's another thing I've got to chase up. Like, I've paid for it and I think it's connected to my account, but they still haven't sent me the confirmation email that I need to take to the post office to be able to get my keys and confirm that the address is correct. So that's happening. And then what? Yeah, I've been investigating a space, like a creative space in the area, and I went in today, and we'll see how that goes. But if I start talking about it now, this video will go forever and I'm already plenty confused. I feel like there was something else that has been going on, but I don't even remember. So let's just end the video there, hey, and not be a good YouTuber, and whatever, I'll hopefully make more videos. But yeah, it's been hard to get. Mum didn't stay at the gym for as long as I was expecting. I was about to film in the middle of the day, and then she came home like an hour earlier than I was expecting. So things like that make it harder to film as well. And then yeah, I think being tired, I just couldn't film. Yeah, no, that's something I mentioned last time, is like the covert schizoid kinds of things. But there are days, like I film when I'm well enough to film, which is not all the time. And so yeah, just, I don't know how the t-shirt video happened. Was I having a better day that day? I don't even remember. My god, my poor brain doesn't know what it's doing. Anyway, I'm gonna go before I hurt myself. I'll see you in the next one.